Alright, so this is going to be a tips and tricks video for Ancient Dungeon. Pretty much a roguelite dungeon crawler game in VR. A lot of fun, I really recommend it. There are tons of items. Some of them have pros and cons, just like everything. The glass cannon, you pick that shit up, you're doing a lot of damage with your sword, but you get hit once and you're pretty much fucked for the rest of the game because you die instantly. If you're like a knife guy, you're probably going to want the featherweight. So you throw the knife doesn't fall to gravity. There's also one that makes the knife heavier, but when that shit hits the ground, spikes come out. There's one that does fire damage to your knife, so when you hit people, you can set them on fire. There's also one that makes a small explosion, but the cons with that is sometimes when you throw your knife and hit somebody, the knife sticks in them. So you finish them off with your sword, they die, the knife falls to the ground, and when it hits the ground, whatever it comes in contact, there'll be an explosion. So if you're too close, that explosion will hurt you. So you kind of have to run around with your throwing knife arm in front of you, because sometimes when the knife hits you, it won't do physical harm from it hitting you, but that explosion tick goes off, and that shit will hurt you. So again, everything has like pros and cons. There's one that puts a charger on your right arm, just like there's one for like pots. You can kind of see them right now with the different cherub marks and all that shit. There's the gambler one that I fucking hate. You lose like half a heart, or you'll gain like a heart. Usually I always get fucked and lose a heart, but there's one for potions that does random potions. There's one that like a wisp will come out and fight for you and shit. They just kamikaze and they do like one, like 6 damage or something, not a much. The greed totem is cool. As long as you have coins, every time you hit somebody, you'll do a lot more damage, but it costs you money. So you're never going to really make enough money to buy shit. So you're really hoping things drop from people. There's also, things that make your sword gold. So when you hit people, they drop coins. You're going to get more keys from like the pots, or more money from the pots. There's a whole bunch of like little pros and con items. Things that make the shopkeeper items cheaper. All kinds of stuff like that. And we'll go on to where you can find most of those. But I'm still missing a whole bunch, and I found most of them. One way to find them, gotta look at the walls. You'll see broken shit on the walls. Sometimes there'll be chests in the room. Sometimes they'll take you to another map. Like, see this one. And then you go in, and you have 2 chests. This is where you're gonna find most of your items. That or on, like, the pillars like this. Another thing you always want to do is check what you have, because sometimes when you pick up a new item, it'll replace maybe an old item. So like if you have something that gives you 6 hearts, and then you pick up the glass cannon, it'll take away your hearts might still be there, but your glass cannon is still in effect. So even when you have those hearts there, you get hit by the glass cannon, you're fucked. So that's something to always like be mindful and shit. Now I had the exploding one. This is the weighted. I really like this. This is fucking cool. You gotta throw your fucking knife a lot harder to get it to go, but now it has like spikes coming out of the ground and shit. Lots of cool little like mix and matches for like weapons. Pots are another cool thing. You can throw them or drink them. This one is like makes shit smaller. Some of them are like bombs. Some of them recharge health. Some of them increase damage. Look at that little baby chair and desk for you. So cute. Some of them turn the enemy gold, and then you hit them and you'll drop coins. Be careful with the shrink potion, because when you drop it, it will, if you touch it, like you'll see right here, and it totally fucked me. It made me smaller and everything was normal sized. And when you shrink, you don't move as fast. So little bitches like slimes, and you have glass cannon, guess what? One hits you, game's over, just like this. So that's shit you have to like look out for. So now we're going on to traps. Traps usually, I don't think this one can kill you, but it kind of locks you into the room. This is a new trap, and it took me like a few hits to figure out what the fuck was going on. See, I got tagged. I'm like, okay, there's a hole in the wall, and I was like, maybe something's coming out, but you can't really see it when it just hits you. And I'm gonna go in again. Bam, and you see it for a split second, it's an arrow. It's like fucking old Indiana Jones. I was like, well, how the fuck do you can't really duck under it, and you can't jump over it. So I just ended up thinking maybe the sword will block it, and yep, it does. So just keep your eyes open for these motherfucking things. And you want to keep the sword about chest height to block them. Another type of trap is you got spikes. Some of them just stick. You know, they just stick out. They're like frozen. They don't move. And then you have some that do move up and down. Timing pretty easy to avoid. Another type of trap is the room traps, where you go into a room, then all hell breaks loose. At least now you'll see on the ground those little marks. That's telling you where shit's going to spawn. So you kind of gotta go with the flow on this, which level you're in. Like if I was in the Lost Library, I wouldn't stand next to them, because if they spawn like the crystals and shit, the Death Star crystals, you might get like hit right off the bat. So you want to be close, but you don't want to be like on top of them. And the good thing about these like trap rooms, they're going to teach you how to like kite, and you can practice your kiting. Most monsters aren't dangerous by themselves, but when they get in large groups, they can be like motherfuckers. But keep your head, just keep moving, keep kiting. I'm not a big fan of like the throwing knife or throwing knives in general, but it really helps you, you know, for like crowd control and shit like that. Here's the infested room, and every dungeon set has its own kind of like trap room, and they can change up every now and then. This one's really easy. Once you kill the torch in the middle, that shield goes away, and you can damage all the little mushrooms. I think the mushrooms should have a larger range on their damage. Like, it's just not like a real threat. And here's like another one. I was thinking it was going to be the same thing, but oh, maggots. And again, one-on-one they're not a threat, but when they're like 4 or 5 of them coming at you, and one's to your right and left, that's when shit becomes like a pain in the ass. Another trap that I love and hate, fucking mimics. You can kind of see that the chest is going to be a mimic because it's usually a little bit darker than the regular wooden chest. So one monster I really like fighting is the zombies. We're going to talk about them. They all have that little dash thing that you just saw. And I find the best way to deal with the regular zombies is to chop to the head, legs, then finish them off in the back. And that's pretty much it. Just 3 little hits and they're all done the same way. You could do this with the red infested zombies, but they're a lot faster. And they're a lot faster getting up. Spank them like a bitch. So here's the infested ones. These I recommend just keep your distance, because when they do their little charge thing, they can like trigger it over and over, and they're real fast on it. But they also like explode and leave spores that will damage you. Also, you see when they do the little charge, they leave spores in the air. That can also damage you. Now, if you're brave and quick, you start swinging when they charge at you, but you have to constantly back up, so all that red shit floating will fucking kill you. And you have to remember, when they fall down, they're gonna explode. Granted, all the infested explosions, like the fungal explosions, are real small. So let's go with the slimes. Pretty much this is a boss slime. Easy to kill, easy to beat. Spawns a whole bunch of regular slimes. These are like the basic bitch of the slime creatures. They do come in many forms that become more and more of a pain in the ass. Again, their numbers is what makes them dangerous. One-on-one, they're a real joke. We'll see some of the other ones. So here's the armored dude. He just has like a helmet. You just hit him normally, that shit will break off. The spitter ones, they usually just spit acid. You can hit it back at them. Like everything that shoots, you can always just hit them back. Again, they're not really much of a threat, except in large numbers. The big fat guys, they kind of slow, tanky, but when they die, they pop into two smaller ones. The zombified slimes kind of have to like keep your eye out. When they die, they leave like a green acidy like mist. The red ones do the same thing too, but it's a lot smaller. Hit them with a potion, make them drop coins. The green ones are more of a threat. There's another one I just killed. The spectral ones, I don't know what their real names are, so most of these names I'm just pulling out of my ass. But I call these the ghost or specter ones. Spectral, whatever. These are motherfuckers, especially when there's like 3 or 4 of them. Kite them as best you can and just stay the fuck away from them. I really hate these guys, but they're, again, normal slime, but then they become motherfuckers, like all of them. The maggots, they're kind of like a kamikaze. They just come at you, but they're on the ground. They're easy to kill. There used to be exploding ones, but I haven't seen any, so I don't know if they're even in the game anymore. Another kind of kamikazes are the wisp, and then you have the axes, which they just spin at you. The birds, there's also red versions of the birds, of the fungal type, but they die just all the same. They're not really a threat. The plants are, I'm not really doing a big section on them. They're pretty easy. None of the plants are really a threat. They're all stuck to the ground, and they either have a pattern or a short range or a short homing shot, which all can be hit back at them. They're really easy. Now for the shrine things, you can sacrifice health or money, and sometimes they'll drop items or health items, or they'll drop coins for health. Completely like situational. I use them every now and then. These guys, I call them the ring throwers. These dudes are a fucking pain in the ass. They're always at the end of long hallways, and a few shots to the knife, usually about like 5 or 6. They usually drop maybe 1 or 2 hits from the sword. But there's usually rooms with like 3 or 4 of them. They can't shoot up or down, so if you're above them on a ledge, you could just easily like cheese them out. I usually try to cheese them out. But as that ring gets further and further, it gets wider and wider. And by the time they throw that first ring, they're getting ready to shoot that second one. So you can rush them and just kite them from a distance and go around them and get close and hit them with the sword. But if you're not expecting them, they could do some damage to you. They're probably one of the tougher guys in the game. I like them though. They're motherfuckers, but they really add a lot to the game. Here's just another like long hallway. They got fucking range to them too, which I like. Can't remember, this is where I rush them. It's like hitting them with the sword is like the best way to deal with them, but you just have to get fucking close. Yeah, the knife damage is never enough. There's another dude on the other side of that bookshelf. The cool thing is like all the projectiles now will like destroy the bookshelf and shit, so you'll see them coming. And you get their timing down, you just keep strafing them, you know. When there's like 1 or 2, they're not like a threat, but when there's 4 or 5. So this is the one of the boss. I think this is the only boss I've seen in the fungal thing. It hasn't changed at all. He's got 2 types of attacks. One thing, he's just going to jump at you and throw spores. You can hit those spores back. They do a good amount of damage. As long as he's not like looking at you, you can kind of see his face every now and then. If you get close to him and look at him, he won't jump at you. He'll do like a weird ass charge, and you can sidestep him and move out of the way. And as long as he keeps looking at you, he won't jump at you. So I'll show you that right now. I ended up, like, I think taking a slow-mo potion, and it made the fight, like, really easy. Because what usually kills me or hits me, I haven't really died to him, but, like, all the hits come from the fucking shit that's shooting around. See, now he's going to do the charge. And you just lay into him. I think he hits me on one of them. Yeah. But you can get some distance and side strafe him. As long as he keeps turning and looking at you, he won't jump. You know, depending on if you're not good with like kiting and shit. You know, just sidestep, hit him with the sword. So you have two ways of dealing with most of the bosses. This is like my new favorite boss, the book dude. You can shoot those things back at him, but sometimes I think if they hit that outer ring, they bounce back at you. So he can deflect them back at you. You'll hit him 3 times, and then he'll fall to the ground, and he'll summon shit. Usually it's like the books. There's 2 types of books. You have your regular books, which are these guys who shoot that small projectile. You have another type of book that's just a different color, and he shoots a bigger projectile that does like an area effect. And those you just have to be careful, because when you throw the knife at the projectile, it'll explode and take up a lot of space. Yeah, these are the area effect guys. Again, they go down to 1 knife hit or 1 sword hit. These shots bounce the fucking knife off of him. I wanted to hit him with the chandelier, but he wasn't in the middle ever. And you just like rinse and repeat. Every now and then he'll summon the little Death Star crystals that shoot a laser. And here I killed him, but he was going into the summon mode. So it's still, the summons still happen, so you gotta like watch out for that shit. And the crystals you just touch once. Sometimes you gotta hit the crystals twice with the knife to kill him. But this is like, again, I was super powered in this one, and still I killed him before he did that thing. And yet he still summons like the shit. So even if you kill him before he goes into that phase, I guess, I don't know if it's a bug or anything, but the phase kind of still happens. So you know, you gotta watch out for that shit. I'm retarded powerful. My sword is sick. This was one of the better runs, and then I picked up that stupid glass cannon thing. These are the Death Star crystals. I love and hate these fucking things. They will follow you around. They usually aim for like your chest or face, and you can duck them sometimes. I just wanted to ruin the fucking place. Here's some books in their natural habitat. Again, the books aren't really ever like a threat by themselves. Even when there's like 3 or 4 of them, they're not too bad. But if there's other shit around, so you have like 2 of these laser crystals, and then another fucking one pops up, and then you have books shooting at you. It's like, son of a bitch. But I like how the crystals, they like, even though like the pillar stops it, you can still see that little pink mist. The thing is still like shooting. So if you pull your head around the corner, you might get a beam in the fucking face. So you gotta be careful about them. And it was like just a bitch to hit them because they're so tiny. Fucking the knife freaked the fuck out on me. The beams are so fucking cool. I really do like them. They make the level real fucking hard. So now to the trader. trader's going to sell you possibly 3 things. There's items that you can find that make his prices go down. Also that he'll drop extra shit. And, you know, I got fed up. And in the older versions, you can kill him and then he just wouldn't be there anymore. And then you could take his shit. But apparently that's not the case anymore. And I wasn't suspecting this shit. And I was like, oh, I fucking murder him. Oh, now there's a cool like death scene for the poor bastard. Oh, nope. He comes back and he doesn't fuck around. So he's got 2 basic attacks. Well, technically 3, I think. He'll shoot that purple beam at you. He'll summon these motherfuckers, which this is the worst room to fight. He'll shoot little like skull head, his little heads at you, which you can knock out with the sword. They're almost like just a missile he shoots. But the thing is he'll do this little charge thing where you see, where he does like a little like explosion around him. While he's charging, it's like a shield, so you can't do any damage to him. And it was, that room was the worst room to fucking fight him in. Between him and those damn crystals. And he pretty much just wiped the fucking floor with me. But I don't let shit go easily. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna fight him again. I fought him in one of the earlier stages where the room is a little bit more controllable and manageable. Cleared all the fucking boxes out of the way in case I had to run. Bought everything that I needed. I got the extra health. Plus I got like 2 apples, 1 on each wrist. And by the way, you can put items on your wrist just in case you didn't know that. And so it begins. There's also an achievement when you kill this dude. And when you kill him, he'll drop an item for you. I don't know if it's random or always the same. But this fight was... This is probably the hardest... If you were to call him a boss, this is, to me, the hardest boss fight. Just between him summoning those fucking crystal things. And him, like, teleporting in random spots. I always go for the crystals first, especially when one's gonna like spawn. Don't walk straight at them. Always like strafe, because sometimes I've noticed when you walk at them, they'll beam right at you. You can duck under them, but you know it's not always fucking easy. Between him shooting his fucking beam. Granted, they're easy to kill. Yeah, see, I just walked right into that shit. I'm glad he's not that easy to kill, and this was really exciting for me. Before you just kill them and then they wouldn't spawn anymore like traders, but now, even after killing this guy going into the next level, there was still like another trader, which was pretty cool. So they no longer, I guess, just not spawn in, and you're kind of like fucked for items. Duck. Yeah, my back has been sore for fuck since doing this. But fighting him in a big room is the way to go. I wouldn't recommend doing those small rooms. And having the 2 apples and the extra heart really helped. Almost ate that one. I almost wish you could block the beam with your sword. Like shoot it back to him like it reflects. Maybe one day. He's ready. Do his little kamikaze thing. Back up. Watch the skulls. They're fucking homing too. Bitch just spawns right on top of you. I fucking hate that shit. Last apple. Granted, each hit only does like a half a heart. And there's the item he dropped. Which is not a bad one. It just sucks because now you're always going to be hurting for coins. But you're a lot more powerful. So it can be done. It's not easy. And that's all that I have for you right now. Still playing the game. Trying to do like a like continue doing like a like on the third walkthrough to see if anything really changes. The rooms are getting bigger. You're just seeing more and more of the same guys, but in different areas. Other than that, if there's any major changes, I'll post the video. If there's any new like monsters or anything, I'll post the video. But other than that, I hope this helps, and enjoy. The game is free on SideQuest. I really recommend this game. Like I said, you're getting 3 new levels. Granted, one of the levels are kind of short, but the more and more you play them, they're going to get longer and longer with more monsters, more items, and it has a lot of good replayability, and it's done really well. And it's fucking free, so what do you got to lose? Alright, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.